State University of New York. In the library study room, there was no one around. Reed, who had finished his homework for the day, stretched out his body. Then he squinted his eyes and looked at the clear sky outside the window. I'm going to create a new future video. With me as the protagonist, I will integrate the plotline of Kamen Rider Kuuga and change the location of the story to near New York. I will make it self-consistent, and the presentation effect will continue to use the form of commentary and live broadcast, and then it will be directly projected into the light curtain. Ding! Insufficient legend level. In front of Reed, a translucent blue-white virtual panel flashed. Tisk! Don't you even have this little bit of legendary power? Red sighed, muttering to himself in frustration. Since traveling from Earth to the Marvel world more than a year ago, Red, like many other travelers, has received a golden finger as expected. The template system of the universe. This is the name of Red's golden finger. As the name implies, the system will provide powerful character templates from all over the world. Red will then act according to the characteristics of the template, thereby causing a sensation worldwide, collecting people's emotional fluctuations and turning them into legendary power so that the template progress can be continuously unlocked and an endless supply of power can be obtained. In addition, the legendary power can also create all things in the world, whether it is the interstellar super weapon Death Star, the Zanpakuto in Bleach, or the three mythical gods that dominate the dual world. Only with enough legendary power can these magical things that do not exist in the Marvel world be created one by one. Kome. The effect can be called Doraemon's four-dimensional pocket. However, although the system's capabilities are powerful enough, but in addition to being happy, Red also felt a little distressed in his heart. Because the first role-playing template given by the system is Yusuke Godai, Kamen Rider Kuuga. And if you want to play this role well, you must run through his philosophy and fight against monsters to protect people's smiles. It sounds simple, but the problem is that the time he traveled through was before Tony Stark became Iron Man. Where did the monsters or aliens come from during this period to give him legendary status? Thinking of this, Red's joy gradually faded, and he slowly regained his composure, thinking about how to implement the next plan to better unlock the template progress. And after a period of hard thinking, a plan to break the situation emerged in his mind. Since there are no monsters to refresh in real life, it is better to collect legend points through videos. Anyway, the system does not say that you must play in the real world. As long as the final result makes the world believe that he is the Kamen Rider Kuuga who fights monsters to protect people's smiles, he can still obtain the legendary status, which is no easier than working hard to play the role in real life. While thinking, Red couldn't help but recall some inventory and spoiler novels he had read in his previous life. Perhaps he could also create a light curtain system like those novels. At the beginning, he used superheroes such as Tony Stark and Steve Rogers as the protagonists to create a series of Marvel future videos that were full of reality and made people unconsciously believe. Then, he mixed private goods from these future videos and added content about himself so that he could play the role of Godai Yusuke in the fictional future video, obtain the legendary degree, and complete the template unlocking. In this regard, the system gave a feasible answer. For the system, the role-playing in reality and the role-playing in the fictional video are the same. What is important is not the process, but the final result. As long as you grasp the concept of Godai Yusuke and play it, and make the world believe it, the system can convert these emotional fluctuations into legendary degrees one by one. Coincidentally, his novice gift package has 10,000 legendary points given by the system. According to these legendary points, he worked out a detailed plan flow chart. According to these legendary points, he worked out a detailed plan flow chart. Later, in the past year or so, In addition to using the legendary degree to arrange a college student identity for himself, hiding in the State University of New York and becoming friends with Gwen, Harry, and others, he spent all the rest of his time on making light curtain videos. The content played was a video about the future direction of Marvel in the form of commentary and live broadcast, combined with Red's memory, to gradually gain the trust of the world and make them believe that everything played on the light curtain is real. Of course, these are just appetizers. Red never forgot that all he did was to complete the role of Go Daisuke. After more than a year of preparation, now is the most appropriate time, and it is time for him to appear on the light curtain. While thinking, Red immediately added to the system, since it is impossible to complete the creation of Kamen Rider Kuga in one go, then create it one episode at a time according to the number of episodes, and then put it into the light curtain. This time, the system did not issue a rejection prompt sound, but quickly started to work. The next moment, a light curtain flashing with psychedelic colors appeared out of thin air above various cities, and then a voice slowly sounded. Time, space, reality. It is not just a linear process, but more like a prism that reflects thousands of changes. A subtle choice can bring infinite possibilities and then create strange parallel worlds. This time, I will lead you into the epic journey of the new hero. Writing a book is not easy. New book needs support. I hope everyone can support me by voting with flowers and votes. Or review the author's book. Thank you very much. S.H.I.E.L.D. Triskelion Building. In the dark office, the sound of the air conditioner blowing was heard. Nick Fury was discussing matters related to S.H.I.E.L.D. with Coulson. Suddenly, they noticed strange movements coming from the sky. They subconsciously looked out the window. When they noticed the light screen that appeared out of thin air and the clear sound, Nick Fury frowned instantly. Coulson couldn't help but make a worried sound. A new episode of the future video is about to be broadcast. I hope it won't be bad news this time. It's no wonder he is so worried. After all, the changes brought about by the light curtain over the past year are really huge. At first, Coulson saw a doctor named Bruce Banner through the light curtain. He accidentally turned into a green giant due to a military experiment and was hunted by General Ross. In the end, he had a big battle with the military on the desert pyramid. He thought it was a virtual image specially made by Hollywood to promote the new movie. As a result, within a few minutes, Nick Fury contacted him and told him that it was all real. In reality, there is indeed a doctor named Bruce Banner who is suffering from persecution by the military, and he was ordered to go to the Rocinha slums in Brazil to rescue the poor doctor. In this regard, Coulson gladly accepted the task, but he also began to have a premonition that the light curtain was not simple. Later, when he went to Brazil to carry out a mission, the light screen played a series of future videos such as the birth of Iron Man, the return of Captain America, and the advent of Thor. As a result, not long after the broadcast, the New York Times, the Daily Bugle, and other media successively broke the news that Obadiah Stane, a major shareholder of Stark Industries, was found to have sold high-end weapons to terrorists and encroached on the interests of the company. Tony Stark himself then held a press conference and announced to the public that Stark Industries would close its weapons manufacturing department from now on, and the group would make a major decision to transform into a controllable energy industry in all aspects. Shortly thereafter, Captain America was also dug out of the ice by the American officials and returned to the world. At this point, except for Thor, who has not been found so far, the others who appeared in the video, all the people and objects were confirmed one by one. So far, both Coulson and some other ordinary citizens have begun to realize that the future videos played on the light curtain may be real, rather than some spoof movies made with 3D special effects. But why the light curtain plays these future clips, Coulson and others don't know and can only make various assumptions. And the light curtain has never made any response. In this case, the world can only accept the existence of the light curtain. Over time, some people even think that this is not a bad thing. After all, the existence of the light curtain has indeed prevented many disasters from happening, and it has also allowed superheroes representing justice to enter the stage of history several years earlier. However, just when everything was developing in a thriving direction, the light curtain played the next. The future video, however, shows a future that makes everyone feel despair and fear. That future video tells the story of a cosmic overlord named Thanos, who sent his invincible fleet to invade the Blue Planet in order to seize the Infinity Stones and realize his ambition to balance the entire universe. In the face of the huge army of Chitauri, the superheroes led by Iron Man and Captain America had no room to fight back and could only passively face the enemy's wave after wave of offensives. The city where they fought was directly reduced to ruins, and the casualties of the citizens were extremely heavy. Recalling the desperate scene, Coulson felt powerless. He really couldn't imagine how to rely on the current power of mankind to deal with this cosmic overlord who will definitely invade the Blue Planet in the future. Don't worry, this time the screen is showing a video about the future of the new hero. There won't be any bad news. Knowing what Coulson was worried about, Nick Fury patted him on the shoulder and comforted him. Then he looked at the huge screen outside the window, and his only intact eye flashed with a hint of expectation. A new hero's epic journey? I want to see who can use the English word epic to describe. If it is appropriate, maybe it would be a good idea to include him in the alliance formation list. Ever since Nick Fury took over the position of Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., he has been preparing a plan. That is to form a team of Avengers to deal with threats from outer space. But unfortunately, there are too few superheroes who meet the requirements. At this stage, there are no other suitable candidates except Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk, and Iron Man. And this number of people is undoubtedly not enough to fight against the Chitauri army that will invade the Blue Planet in a few years. After all, the light screen has played that desperate future. The scarce superheroes cannot make an effective counterattack against the huge Chitauri army and finally can only fall under the human wave tactics of the overlord of the universe. Faced with such a desperate future, perhaps, the only way to deal with it is to call back the guy who roams in outer space every day. But Nick Fury is not very confident that she can deal with the universe overlord alone. At this time, the light curtain brought a new future video, which undoubtedly gave him more choices. If he could recruit a few more powerful superheroes through the light curtain, he would be more confident in dealing with the universe overlord. Thinking of this, the expectation in Nick Fury's eyes became more and more obvious. At the same time, the light curtain began to flash different colors, and then the new future video officially started playing. Adirondack Mountains, New York. In this mountain range consisting of hundreds of unconnected peaks, there is a huge crack in which is hidden a retro-looking ruin, which is brightly lit and filled with various modern archaeological equipment. A group of staff members dressed in archaeological costumes are collecting samples and doing various record-keeping work in the ruins with tools in their hands. In the innermost part of the ruins, a huge sarcophagus engraved with mysterious runes is standing diagonally high up. The pulley device located above is connected to several thick iron chains, which firmly bind the four corners of the sarcophagus lid and then slowly tightens to lift the heavy lid. When the coffin lid is lifted to a certain height, the pulley device stops working, and then a group of staff members holding professional tools move forward and begin to stabilize the coffin lid suspended in the air. The remaining personnel, led by Professor Jimmy, the head of the archaeological team, put on night vision goggles to observe the scene inside the sarcophagus, and what caught their eyes was a male corpse wearing a stone belt and gray-white clothes. Although his body had long since withered away over the years, his skin clung to his bones, and every inch of muscle seemed to have been ruthlessly taken away by the years, leaving only a skeleton-like outline. But everyone present could feel that the corpse still had a glimmer of vitality that had not completely disappeared, as if it had just been buried. Such a strange scene was completely beyond the comprehension of this archaeological team. You must know that according to the analysis of the soil currently collected, this mysterious underground relic has existed for at least tens of thousands of years and has been buried deep underground until a major earthquake last year caused the Earth's crust to move and the Earth to crack, which allowed the relic to see the light of day again. And in such a long period of time, this corpse still remains as if it had just been buried. How incredible it is! Writing a book is not easy. New book needs support. I hope everyone can support me by voting with flowers and votes. Or review the author's book. Thank you very much.